Hey friends, welcome to rhubarbpatchstudio. I'm Leah Noel and these are my baby rhubarbs. Was not able to pick these this year because they're still pretty fresh, pretty new, and just wanted to kind of show you how big these are. They're doing good. Anyway, so I've been wanting to catch up with all of you, and I still can't really decide on how to go about doing that. So today I thought, it's a Saturday and I would really like to get some stitching in. And I've been thinking about this idea. I'm gonna call this type of episode a Flosstube fill-in. This is essentially gonna be my version of a Stitch With Me, but it's gonna be more in the style of Kitten Stitcher, Crease of a Net. She kind of puts the camera far back so that it's like you're in the same room with her stitching and chatting, but you can't get in a word edgewise. So if you're someone who likes prompts, then here is your impromptu prompt. Go and find a project that has a ton of filling in to do. I have a project, actually I have several projects that have big sections of fill in, which I avoid usually, but they work really well for chatting. So I'm gonna also go inside and get a project, and I'm gonna fill you in while we both get some filling in done. How does that sound? So you can pause the video here and go and collect your project, or you can just keep on doing whatever you were doing at the time that you clicked on this video. That's fine too. But I invite you to come and sit inside with me in my little stitching area and let's have a chat. Welcome back. Here is one of my sitting areas. Believe it or not, this is in my kitchen. I'm looking at my refrigerator and my stove and my sink and my messy counters. This is where normal people would put their dining room table, but my husband and I, we really like being cozy, and this is actually my husband's suggestion to put a little coffee nook in the kitchen area, which I gradually kind of took over as a stitching spot. So this is my chair, and that's your chair. That pillow, I can fluff that pillow for you when you come over. But I've got all of my stitching needs here. I keep a little basket of projects that are just at the ready to work on. I have a stand here, a floor stand. I have this little table that keeps all of my my needle minders along the edges here, the ones that aren't tied up with a project. I've got one of my Ort catchers made by my friend Christina, Quilting with Miko. I love these things because look, these little orts, they don't get everywhere. Christina also sent me this tiny little itty bitty scissors, and so I keep this one upstairs. I have one fancy pair of scissors, and that stays downstairs in my downstairs stitching spot, and I use that. Those scissors were from another friend that I met at StitchCon last year. And anyways, so this is my stitching. This is my upstairs stitching spot. So welcome. I hope that you found a project that is full of, is in need of filling in. I picked up the Noel sampler by Brenda Gervais. This is what the pattern looks like. And I don't know if you have seen my start on this. I started it last year sometime, and I think I might have started stitching it on winter break between semesters. But I decided to stitch it on Arctic by Picture This Plus. And so right now, there's Arctic. This is where I am, and I have this whole house to fill in. I don't like filling in. I don't like big solid chunks of color. So you'll see that I'm actually cheating on this house. I am doing satin stitches. So it looks kind of cool. This pattern actually has a lot of big chunks of color, and so I am, yeah, I might be more creative in other places as well. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm zhuzhing it up with some glittery floss for the snowflakes. And anyway, so that's what I'm going to be working on, and you saw my starting point, so I will try to remember to show you where I end after this. And let me just get comfortable here. I've got some water. Normally I would be listening to an audiobook or Pandora. Right now I am not listening to as many books, but I do have one audiobook in the works, which is, actually I have two, but the one that I'm mostly interested in listening to lately is Catch 22. Otherwise, just listening to Pandora. And yeah. So let me know in the comments what you're stitching on today, what you're filling in, like what motif you're filling in, if you're participating in my impromptu prompt. Okay, so my purpose in doing this in the first place is to fill you in on how grad school went, because I've been fielding a lot of questions about that. So I have my master's degree now. I'm done with grad school. It's been a relief to be done. It was a ton of work. Not least because I was also teaching while I was going to school. They offered me a graduate teaching assistant position, and I thought it would be a great opportunity because I do have an interest in teaching, but I don't know if that's really the direction that I'll take long term, to be honest. I'm just gonna raise this a little bit. So anyway, I'll try that. So anyway, what did I teach? Okay, what did I go to school for? I went to school for English. My master's degree is in English. I actually have a bachelor's in Asian languages and literature. And when we moved here so that I could go to aviation school. And I did that for a few years. Towards the end, I was only going part-time, just to accommodate some life things. And ultimately, I left the aviation program for personal reasons, just because it was seeming more and more like it was going to be a very large challenge for me to fly commercially, which was my original goal. And so when I started Flosstube, I was actually in flight school still, and that's why I named myself Aviatrix Stitcher, because Aviatrix is a female pilot, and I still am a pilot. I'm just not really flying now, and I don't plan to fly anytime soon, but being a pilot doesn't change. So part of my reason for switching my Flosstube name is just because I don't really, while I am still a pilot, I just don't really feel like that was the best descriptor of me and who I am. And so I decided to go with rhubarbpatchstudio because I love stitching and I love cross stitch, but I do also like other crafts and other hobbies, and so I thought studio was a little bit more appropriate. And rhubarb is just something that I cherish, like, in my life. I am very connected to food. I love food. I half joke that eating is one of my favorite hobbies, but it's true. My husband and I, we love to try new foods. We love to have meals together. We love to have meals with friends and family. We just really enjoy eating. And rhubarb is something that is, it grows natively up here in the Midwest, the upper Midwest. So I thought that it was a fitting channel name for me, because I will always have rhubarb. I think I will always try to make that part of my living space. Wherever we live, I will always have a rhubarb patch. So there's the name change. There's the Flosstube name change. I'm unscripted here, so, and I'm also kind of talking to myself while also trying to anticipate what you might want to know. Okay, so back to grad school. 2 years of the English Master's Program and 2 years of teaching. I was teaching English composition. I was teaching 2 different classes, 2 different levels of English composition, and these are classes that we had every student at the university take. It was a required course for every student in every course of study. And so there's kind of variable number 1 as to how my experience went. It was a required course. Both courses that I taught were required courses. And they're not easy courses. You think, you hear English composition, and initially most people hear that and they think writing words in a document, and they think grammar. But what they don't think initially, or what most people don't think of, is actually critical reading, a lot of reading, critical reading and critical thinking, and not a lot of grammar. It's all about how you analyze what you read and how to respond to that intellectually in your writing, and also understanding your audience, who's going to read your writing. And it was a difficult course. I think it was a really difficult course. So managing expectations was something that I think was a constant battle. And then also I began teaching in 2020, and that was during lockdown. So the entire first year, one of 2 years, was taught online. We held our classes exclusively on the Zoom platform. So there's another variable as to how my experience went. It was during a pandemic, a global pandemic, and it was on an online platform when this class was actually designed to be taught in person. It wasn't designed to be an online class. So we were kind of up against a lot of challenges from the get-go. We made it work. We meaning me and the rest of the instructors, and really the whole university. I think that it was a really challenging time for everybody, students and instructors and faculty. It was just really, really challenging. So my office at home is also where I store my cross-stitching supplies and all of my works in progress and all of my patterns and my fabrics, and also my computer is where I purchase my stitching supplies because I don't have a local needle workshop. So I was too busy to stitch for most of the time that I was in school. And that was torture because my office was with my cross-stitching stuff, and I had to look at my cross-stitching stuff while I was teaching and taking classes. Yeah, it was torture at times. And sometimes I would just, I would find myself kind of window shopping online and kitting up projects. So while I was in grad school, when I couldn't stitch, I was kitting up a lot of things that I wish I could have been stitching. So I've got kind of a stockpile now, and I'm trying to work my whips down so that I can start those. I've got some really cool things on the horizon that I really want to start, but I really want to finish some things too. Let's see, what else would you like to know about grad school? So I guess something that people ask a lot is, did I enjoy it? And I'll say yes, I did enjoy most of it. I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed having the opportunity. I don't know exactly what I did not enjoy, because there were too many variables, like the pandemic, teaching on Zoom, and then when we were back in person, we were all in masks. And communication is really, I mean, a lot of you know this already, but like it's challenging to communicate effectively when you can't see your mouth. You can only see your eyes, because a lot of us actually use, like, we watch the mouth for extra content, like meaning, I guess. So there was that. there was resistance from some students in just having to take this required course if they didn't see the immediate value in it, or they anticipated that they would be graded solely on grammar, which we put very little emphasis on grammar. We really focused hard on content, and there's a lot of reading involved. It was very, very work intensive. So the students were not always the most prepared or the most receptive to the curriculum. I don't know. It was a lot. But I'll tell you what, when you connect with individual students and you can see that you changed their perspective on whatever lesson you were trying to teach, and something clicked for them, and they recognized that, like, they got it, like they get it, and you could see it develop in their work, and that's probably why teachers keep teaching. I mean, that is an amazing feeling. That's just an incredible feeling to know and to see how you can affect other people's thinking. And so that's the part that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that, connecting with students. And I think I learned a lot of valuable lessons from teaching. Just that everybody has their own teaching style and everybody has their own learning style, and it's not always going to line up, and that's okay. I also learned that not everybody will have a chance to incorporate what they learn until after they leave your class. And so you sometimes don't even see the product of your work ever, because it doesn't show up until later. It needs to germinate and grow and develop on its own. So I don't know. I knew teaching would be difficult, and I still think that it is. So I do not think that I will continue to teach. I also don't know if the age group was my ideal age group either. Anytime I think about teaching, I always kind of think of myself as maybe a high school teacher. I think I like the high school age group. Or potentially, if I teach again, I would like to teach an elective course, something that students elect to take, that they're not required to take, because they already come in with an assumption that they are going to need this class. If it's an elective, then they come in with that mindset. It's just a more positive attitude about it. So there's that. Also, ideally, if I were to teach again, there wouldn't be a global pandemic going on. I wouldn't have to teach an in-person course online over Zoom. There's a lot of variables, So another question that I am asked frequently is, what can I do with my English degree? Or what do I want to do with my English degree? And so I can do a lot with an English degree, more than just teach English. For one thing, it has a lot of critical thinking skills kind of built into the curriculum. So I have a lot more practical experience with critical thinking and strategy and analyzing what I read. Linguistics and English are both highly valued degree programs for law school. So if any of you are thinking about being lawyers and you don't yet have a degree, whether that's bachelor's or master's, or even doctorate, or second or third bachelor's or master's degree, and you're interested in law, English would be a great option for you. English or linguistics. There's also communication, there's technical writing, there's other things. But here's my good news. I am employed. So I got a job. I was actually offered this job. It was right around graduation. So I know that this job opening came up a few weeks before I graduated. And it is, okay, it's business development for an air evacuation, like air evac transportation company. So basically, helicopters and airplanes that transport sick people, whether that's from a scene to a hospital or from hospital to a hospital. So I was hired to do business development. I have I have communication experience through my English degree, right? I also have previous work experience that give me some skills that are useful for this line of work. But essentially, it was really amazing that this job became available. We have not moved. It's available here where we live. I work mostly from home. It's mostly Monday through Friday, but I will be going to PR events, and I'll be visiting facilities like hospitals and stuff. And so I'll be traveling a little bit. So that's going to be interesting. That's something that I haven't done before. I do have a lot of customer service background. So this is essentially like another, it's kind of another customer service job, except for this is the first time that I'll be going to the customer instead of the customer coming to me all the time, so that's kind of interesting. And it's also this ideal job for me because I can combine my aviation background with my English master's degree, and a whole bunch of other skills that I've had from previous jobs. So it was kind of one of those things where I was not expecting to find it. It sort of found me, and I thought that I was not going to be employed for a while. I was kind of planning on not being employed for a while because we have just a lot of life projects going on that I would really like to just kind of focus on those. But this came along and I thought to myself, Leah, you would be an idiot not to apply and interview for this job. It's almost it's inexplicable how it just kind of showed up. So I've been working at this new job for about a month, and it's going well so far. It's really there's been some challenging aspects for me, just in that there's a lot to catch up on. And they also are really hoping that I'll just take some strong actions like really fast. So there's pressure there, but there's also just kind of a long to-do list. It's good though. I think this is a really good opportunity for me, and I love the people that I work with. This is a totally different atmosphere, like job atmosphere for me, because I'm mobile, and I haven't really been this mobile before in a previous job, so that's been kind of interesting and good. I also have a lot of agency over my own schedule, which is another thing that I'm getting used to. I'm trying to be really good about setting boundaries, which is one reason why I'm doing Flosstube today instead of thinking obsessively over the many projects that I have going on in my new job, because these projects are ongoing and they're huge, puzzles, and I have this kind of brain that just doesn't want to put a puzzle down until it's figured out. And so it's been kind of hard that way for me, just to be really strict about myself with work-life balance. And my husband has been having to gently remind me to feed myself, and just to take care of things that are not work related, and to give myself a break. So there's a lot to adjust to, but overall I think this is going to be a good fit. And so I'm excited for just everything. I'm in a good place right now. It's super busy. Our son Otto is visiting his grandparents for a whole month this summer, and he's gone right now, but he's having a blast. And he was really looking forward to the summer break, because kindergarten went really well. Oh yeah. Last time, I think, not last time, but one of my more recent videos, which was like last year, had a little bit about Otto feeling like he was missing all of his friends from preschool. He still will say that he does miss his friends from preschool, and I don't know I don't know how much of that is just habit now, of him saying like, yeah, I'm having fun, but I still miss my old friends, like, I think he does miss that space. It was less pressure, it was play-based learning at his preschool. And he had the same, they called them families, like the kids would stay in the same family with the teachers, the same teachers, and he was there for 2.5 years, I think. So you know, it's understandable that he would miss it. But kindergarten went really well for him. He is an advanced reader. He still has some, social development, but it's all age-appropriate stuff, what he's working through. But he's doing really well in school, I would say, and he ended up enjoying kindergarten. He loved his teacher. His teacher was very good for him, very structured and patient but kind, sort of like Mary Poppins in a way. I guess. His first grade teacher. So he already met his first grade teacher, and I really like that his school did this. The last week of school in kindergarten, that was emotionally rough for Otto. He was crying a lot because he knew that kindergarten was going to be over and his teacher was moving away. Like, his teacher will not be in the school building next year, his kindergarten teacher. And he just was feeling that loss before it even arrived. And so he was crying a lot. He had some friends in his kindergarten class that were also moving to either to different school districts or to different towns. And a lot of changes. Kindergarten was going to be over. He was sad that he didn't want to go into first grade. He was just getting used to kindergarten. He said, I was just getting used to it and I still miss preschool, But what his school did, which I really, really liked that they did this, they told the kindergartners who their first grade teacher was going to be, and on the same day, they actually met their first grade teacher, and the teacher was able to say hi to all of them and talk to them a little bit. And Otto told me that his first grade teacher got to read them a book. And let's call this teacher Mrs. Johnson, because Johnson is one of the most common names in the United States. So this is not her name, but let's call her Mrs. Johnson. Anyway, Mrs. Johnson wrote a children's book and illustrated it herself. And the title of this book that Otto told me about is called Mrs. Johnson Wants Your Teeth. And it's about this crazy elementary school teacher who collected her students' teeth so that she could wear it as a necklace, like as jewelry. And Otto told me that this teacher had dyed her hair orange for the last week of school. And we got a letter for the parents from this teacher, and she sounds like she's just gonna be a great fit for Otto, because Otto is so creative. He's always coming up with these adventure stories about monsters and heroes and catastrophic events that somehow somebody will save everybody in this catastrophic event. And so this teacher sounds like she's gonna hopefully encourage that side of Otto's skill set and personality. So that was pretty fun. Anyway, in her letter to the parents, like, she sounds like a totally normal person. I don't think she's gonna be asking for teeth or anything, but anyway, she she has a lot of experience. I think it sounds like she's been an elementary school teacher for like 20 years or something. So lots of experience, and it's good. We're excited. And then let's see. I think Otto's also going to be involved in some extracurricular stuff. I'm not sure what exactly. Gymnastics. He's been doing gymnastics since he was 1.5, so he'll probably keep doing that. Dance, maybe. He might get into some sports. We'll see. He loves swimming. He's been swimming a lot this summer, and he's taking swimming lessons. And he just loves swimming. So we might try to encourage him in that direction, just to do swimming, like maybe as a sport or something. Loves riding his bike. Yeah, so as far as everything else goes for life update, I think I covered everything. I mean, I told you about grad school, told you the ups and downs of it. I told you initially that I was going to work on writing, and I did do that. I dabbled a little bit in poetry, which has been fun. I have written poetry in the past, but I kind of did it more for college this time around, and I think I came up with some good stuff, interesting things. I also wrote a lot of narrative nonfiction. Sort of like, well, yeah, I don't know how much I want to get into it here, but I am Googleable, I'll say that, if you're super interested, because I'm not going to share my stuff on Flosstube, but not everybody likes poetry, I did my final project. So it's not necessarily a thesis. We had two options. We could do a thesis option, which is like a massive paper on one topic, and you work with one faculty member to get that done. Or you could do a portfolio. And so I opted to do the portfolio because I could work with 3 instructors instead of just one, and I could also collect multiple writings instead of just one long one. So I did that, and my main project was really researching the ethical dilemmas of writing memoir. It's not what I set out to do originally. Like I just kind of came into it like this is actually what I'm interested in learning about telling true stories. But what is true? Like it was a little bit my project was a lot philosophical, mixed in with everything, because I was really exploring the boundaries of truth, because you have personal perspective, and how reliable is your personal perspective? Because let's say an event happens, like this falls onto the floor, and you see it and I see it and I experience it firsthand because I'm the one who caused it to fall on the floor. Well, there's automatically going to be split perspective there, because there's my memory of the experience, which I can recount to you, but then there's also your experience of viewing it happen to me, or or whatever. So I read a ton of books, like a ton. I read a ton of books, mostly memoirs, nonfiction, craft books on writing memoir and writing nonfiction and writing a lot of these things. And I discovered a passion there. I discovered a passion for representing different perspectives. I guess I could say it that way in a nutshell, but it was a ton of work, but I really enjoyed writing my final project, and it was such a relief to turn it in and then to discuss it with my my instructors. At the end of your master's program, the instructors that I worked with, like they read all of my work, and then they kind of were prepared with critical questions, questions about things that I hadn't explored, questions about things that I mentioned that I want to continue developing over time. Just lots of really interesting discussions. It was a great experience. That part, I really enjoyed that part, and I really enjoyed working with faculty members. And it's not often in your life that you get an opportunity to just like really work with people about your own work, like talk about your own work in detail with other people. Like it's kind of a rare thing in life, because people are busy with other things and they don't have time to really spend on something outside of themselves, really, if it's not what they're paid to do. So I enjoyed that aspect, and I'm happy with how that came out, and now I'm employed doing business development things, which is a little bit like marketing, it's a little bit like customer service, it's a little bit PR, it's a little bit administrative, it's a little bit of a lot of things, and it's a lot of work for one person. So I'm just kind of getting used to it and getting into the rhythm with my new schedule and everything. So I don't know what else I can share with you today. I mean, other than just things are going good. I'm staying so busy. I really thought I would have a relaxing summer, and I don't have a relaxing summer. And I'm hoping that with this new job, that it'll click, it'll start clicking a little bit more, and I'll be more efficient at things, and it'll just become more routine, and I won't feel so busy. I seem to just do this to myself. I plan to be not busy, and then I just find things to be busy with. So what is up with that? I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Anyway, things are good, and that's all. So if you're still at the end of this, I can talk a little bit about cross stitch if you want, but I'm not going to do these Flosstube fill-ins very regularly. I'm just not. I just didn't know how else to give you the information, that people have been asking me for, but I also didn't want to kind of put it in with a whole bunch of other stitching stuff because not everybody cares about life updates and about chit chat, you know, personal stories or anything. So this is just kind of what I thought up, and hopefully it works. And you'll have to let me know in the comments how much you have filled in while you were watching me fill in my project and filling you in on my life updates. I think I'm just gonna end here because I feel like I'm babbling now. I don't really want to tell you about my cross stitch because you probably don't care very much. You are cross stitching whatever you're cross stitching. You know how to do it. Okay, so if you made it to the end, wow, thank you so much for just sitting here chatting with me. I hope you like imagined yourself in this chair being very, very comfortable and having your own cross stitch with you, and having your own beverage, whether that's like water or tea or coffee or whatever. So let me know what you dreamt up. If you did dream up anything, who knows? It's kind of weird, but okay. Thank you so much. I will see you again. I don't know when. I'm trying to figure out how to share. What do you want to see? Like what whips do you want to see from me? I've had a lot of new starts. I've been working on a lot of old projects. I have a lot of old projects. I'm trying to think of how to get my glorious whip parade in. Still trying to figure that out. But you know, it'll come in time. But if you have something in particular that you would really love to see, just let me know. I hope that you're well. I hope you enjoyed this Flosstube fill-in, and I hope that you take care. Bye, everyone.